Hi everyone, I'm Laura again, the CEO of VMV Hypoallergenics, the safest, most proven effective care on the planet. We're here to save the world's skin, to spread goodness like a great cream. And today I will be talking to you about the differences between the terms hypoallergenic, organic, and natural, because there is still quite a bit of confusion between them. Before I get into that, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and definitely ask us questions in the comments about anything else you'd like us to cover. Don't forget to follow our Skin Sites live sessions. Don't forget to share this if you think it might be helpful to someone. Maybe an overview to start with is the idea of cosmetics and regulations to begin with. In many, many countries around the world, not all, but in many, our industry is regulated. So we have very strict rules about what we can and cannot use as far as ingredients. We have strict rules about how much of certain ingredients we can use and the purity of such ingredients. So we're actually rather well regulated. And while, of course, there's always room for improvement as we continue to go along, it's not like way back in the day when there was no regulation whatsoever and cosmetics could use things like arsenic and lead in their cosmetics. This is really no longer the case now, and we actually have to go through quite a bit of claims substantiation, proving that we are adhering to the requirements in different markets. While there are many claims that do require claim substantiation, that means when you register the product in a particular country, you have to submit evidence to back up the claim that you're going to use on the product. There are many claims that aren't. Among them, natural. Hypoallergenic is regulated in some markets and not in others, and how it's regulated is inconsistent. And organic is actually the one that is the most regulated and the most consistently. So I'll go through those a little bit one by one, and then I'll do a little bit of a comparison between the three. Let's start with natural. Natural as a claim is not regulated in general across most regulatory bodies. And what I find interesting particularly about this claim is that people tend to think of natural as opposed to chemical. One of the things that we always like to remind people is everything is chemical. Everything has a chemical signature, right? The periodic table of elements. Water is hydrogen and oxygen. Everything in nature has a chemical signature. So I think it is more helpful to say natural versus, say, harmful chemical or a toxic chemical or a lethal chemical, because those things, yeah, definitely exist. But to say natural versus chemical, I think is a little bit misleading and inaccurate, right? The thing about natural in cosmetics is it is not regulated. So no one really cares when you put it on packaging. You could make a shampoo and just color the bottle green and say natural. No one would care. You could sell it. You could put a very synthetic fragrance in there that smells of lavender and say natural. You can say it recalls nature. It's not a regulated term, so you don't really need to submit any kind of evidence to say why this is natural, right? So as a claim, meh. If you see something that says natural on a product, meh is probably the best reaction that I would have. Organic is a regulated claim, but here's the thing. When you choose an organic product, if it just says organic, you may not know what that means either. And that may or may not be regulated in certain markets. But organic certification like this, right, where it's a very specific seal right here and here, these other ones, these are very, very strictly regulated by very specific and authorized organic certification bodies, like the United States Department of Agriculture. In Japan and Europe, they have equivalents as well. When you see those symbols, you can only use those symbols when the product is certified as organic by internationally recognized organic certifying bodies, and they're very strict. They will come and visit, for example, our farm in Leyte to make sure that the farm is organic, the product is organic. Organic, therefore, with those certifications, that is very regulated. That is very strict. That definitely means something, right? Grown a very particular way that adheres to certain standards of organicity. Hypoallergenic as a term is regulated in many markets, but not in all markets. That means in some markets you can just say hypoallergenic and it doesn't really mean anything. In other markets, hypoallergenic is a regulated claim, and you have to submit, therefore, evidence that this product is hypoallergenic. Breaking that down a little bit, hypo means less. Allergenic is likely to cause an allergic reaction. Hypoallergenic means less likely, not impossible, less likely to cause an allergic reaction. Even when a term like hypoallergenic is regulated in a certain market, that doesn't necessarily mean that the requirements for that market are the same for another market. Could just mean the submission of results of a patch test to the product, an open patch test, or there might be other requirements. At VMV in particular, when my mother, who is a dermatologist and dermatopathologist, who happens to also be a contact dermatitis expert, when she started formulating, this is one of the things that bothered her the most, that there wasn't sort of one standard to determine what hypoallergenic really meant. And she wanted to make sure that for our stuff, it meant something very particular. Enter the VH rating system, the validated hypoallergenic rating system. The VH rating system basically shows how many of the top contact allergens are in a formulation or not, right? What she does is we look at independently published studies from around the world of top contact allergens. And these are determined by thousands and thousands of patch tests, 28,000 plus in different countries, to show which substances really elicited the most allergic reactions. Number one consistently all the time is nickel. Other top contact allergens are fragrance, no matter how organic it is, and I'll get into that a little bit more. Many preservatives, dyes, things like that are top contact allergens. In our products, we have made the system, the VH rating system. It shows you how many contact allergens in total there are, so this is 109. And then it shows you VH minus what? So this is VH minus 109 over 109, which means it contains none. It is absent all 109 top contact allergens out of 109 top contact allergens. If this product were to contain one allergen, because it's highly unlikely you would patch test positive to all 109 top contact allergens. If there were an allergen that were included, the VH rating would be lower, VH minus 108 over 109, for example, and there would be an asterisk. And when you go to the ingredients list on the back, the included allergen would have the asterisk and would be underlined, so you really can't miss it. And if, for example, the included allergen is vitamin E, which is a wonderful antioxidant, and you patch tested positive for fragrance, nickel, and dyes, then you can still use the product because vitamin E is not something that you patch tested positive for. So in particular in our products, we really show from the get-go how we validate the hypoallergenic claim. All our products are patch tested. We also patch test each individual ingredient and raw materials, and we even patch test applicators of the product, and we do allergen screening for the packaging. And then we do the VH rating system on all of our products, so you can see how many top contact allergens are omitted from the formulation. We use as a reference independent sources, so it's very objective, and you can see if it's something you can use immediately. The VH rating system has proven so effective that a study published in one of the top contact dermatitis journals in the world, a peer-reviewed journal, showed less than 0.1% reactions, not even less than 1%, less than 0.1% reactions reported in over 30 years. So pretty effective. That's hypoallergenic, right? So again, quick summary in a nutshell. Natural really isn't regulated, so it's not a term that, quote, means much. Organic is regulated for the most part, but you have to make sure that the proper seals are there as well as the organic certifying bodies. Hypoallergenic is somewhere in the middle, where it's regulated in some countries and otherwise not. And even where it's regulated, it's not necessarily always consistent what the requirements are. So at VMV, we made our own standardized requirement. So it's really easy to see what we do, what we mean by hypoallergenic. Now, if we were going to compare them head to head, right? Natural versus organic, I would choose organic any day, especially with the certifications, because again, natural doesn't really mean anything. Natural can mean I color something the colors of what I think of as natural. It's very subjective. It is not regulated. It doesn't really mean much. Organic is certified, especially with the official certifying bodies. Now, in terms of natural versus organic versus hypoallergenic, particularly for sensitive skin conditions, inflammatory skin conditions, everything from eczema, rosacea, psoriasis, just dry skin, acne, a lot of these things, we would always, of course, recommend hypoallergenic, and this is why. Even if something is certified organic, it could still be a top contact allergen. Food and skin allergies are not the same thing. We should probably do a video on that, but we've got a nice blog post to explain the difference between food and pet and nasobronchial allergies versus skin allergies. But different cells are involved, it's different modalities, different systems. Still, I think it's a really nice metaphor because it's quick to get, right? If you are allergic to peanuts, it doesn't matter how organic the peanuts are, you probably shouldn't be eating them. Same thing for strawberries, same thing for bee stings. If you happen to be stung by a bee that is as organic as possible, if you were allergic to bee stings, you might need your EpiPen handy, right? So again, very different modalities in food and these types of allergies versus skin allergies. But the same logic applies. If you've patch tested positive for fragrance, it doesn't matter how organic that fragrance is, chances are you're going to get a reaction. If you've patch tested positive for tea tree oil, even if you know that the tea tree oil is certified organic, you probably shouldn't use it. Many top contact allergens are natural organic things. Citruses, lemon, lime, oranges, top contact allergens. Ylang-ylang, lavender, a lot of these essential oils are top contact allergens. And even if you were to grow your own lavender yourself and make sure it was completely organic, if you patch tested positive to it, you can't use it. Which is why at VMV, anytime that we can use something that is closer to nature and that can be certified organic, we will use it. But our top filter is hypoallergenicity, which is why our virgin coconut oil, which is cold and first pressed and clinically published, you can actually see the abstract of one of the publications here, is such a boon. It's such a wonderful ingredient because virgin coconut oil that is cold and first pressed, that means not extracted with allergens, not refined bleach deodorized, RBD oil, and not stored or mixed in vats that are also used for storing or mixing other products that do have allergens. Virgin, cold, and first pressed coconut oil is not a top contact allergen, and it's certified organic in our farm in Leyte in the Philippines. It's such a wonderful product for extremely sensitive skins. Not allergenic, it's multi-purpose, which we love. Protects the skin's barrier layer, is a wonderful humectant, creates a great palisade on top of the skin, phenomenal moisturizer, antimicrobial, etc. And it's organic, or can be, like ours is. And we've done clinical studies on it that we've published in peer-reviewed journals. For us, this is the glorious trifecta. But if you did have to choose between certified organic and hypoallergenic, for us who deal with really complex skin conditions, acne, different types of folliculitis, psoriasis, rosacea, eczema, atopic dermatitis, etc., we will always choose hypoallergenic, something that does not contain top contact allergens. So again, as a quick review, Natural means not much. Beware the false dichotomy between natural and chemical, because everything in life is a chemical. Harmful chemicals, that's a whole different thing. Organic can definitely be regulated, is strictly regulated especially when it uses the certified organic seals, and they are given by official authorized certification bodies around the world. And hypoallergenic is regulated as a claim in many countries, but not all, and can sometimes be inconsistent in terms of the requirements that are needed to prove hypoallergenicity, which is why we use the VH rating system. And if you had to choose, if you have very sensitive skin and you have to choose between natural, organic, or hypoallergenic, natural, just out the window, don't even bother. Organic, sure, if it's got the certifications, the proper official certifications, and also, though, it doesn't have top contact allergens, which is why we would say for sensitive skin or any other skin condition, really, the top for us will always be hypoallergenic, that is proven to be allergen-free or as allergen-free as possible, and especially if you're dealing with very particular conditions, evidence-based clinical studies back up those claims. A quick note on clinical efficacy. It's kind of a big deal to have one clinical study published in a peer-reviewed journal, and thanks to my mother, who's our founding dermatopathologist, who herself has 200-something studies published, we have over 80 clinical studies published in peer-reviewed journals around the world. So for us, more than any other consideration, we really look at what is the safest, so the most hypoallergenic, what doesn't contain top contact allergens, and what is the most proven effective. Evidence-based clinical trials, well-researched clinical studies. That's very much who we are. So that's our quick discussion of the difference between the claims natural, hypoallergenic, and organic. I really hope that you found this helpful. It's something that we run into all the time. We've got loads of helpful articles on vmvinskin.com, which is our blog. Please make sure to like and to share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click that notification bell, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, because we do a lot of things like fun contests and share a lot of excellent skin tel. And if you want to find any of our products internationally, it's at vmvhypoallergenics.com, and in the Philippines, it's vmvhypoallergenics.ph. Thank you very much. I hope you found this helpful. Please let us know if you'd like us to cover anything else, and do take care and stay safe. See you next time.